God has given men a capacity and a responsibility that women do not have, and we have to be honest about it. We can say he's not a man, he doesn't know how to lead, he doesn't whatever. There's still a capacity inside of him that God did not give us as women. And one of the biggest examples that I can give of that, imagine it's raining and you're in New York City. And if you've ever been to New York City or in France and it starts raining and people start selling umbrellas on the street, those $5, $10 umbrellas, they're not worth much, but they get the job done until you get home. Imagine you have that man. You have the man that gets the job done, isn't anything special, but he gets the job done. That man, no matter how little you view him, is made to handle the rain. You were not made to handle the rain, but you were made to hold up that which can handle the rain. If you didn't have that umbrella, you would come back home smelling like what poured on you. When a man comes back in as that umbrella, he gets dried quickly, water repellent, it falls off of him, and no matter how equipped you thought he still was built for the rain. The difference also, some of you want that Neiman Marcus umbrella. Some of you want the wood handle. Those things are heavy. And if God gave you a man like that, then you have to be the woman that can hold up that man. Because an umbrella that is not used, it can be for the rain, for the sun, it shields, it provides shade, it allows what's under it not to be touched. We are the vessel, not weaker. We are the vessel that was meant to let the one that God gave us be held up and used for what he was made. So now, as a wife, I want to say, I don't want to get wet. I don't want to sunburn. My skin's not built for that. So instead, I'm going to let the man be who he was meant to be. And if God gave me, which he did, my man's about as heavy as this table. That means God made me capable of holding him up. If my man is not doing what he was made to do, it's because I, as his wife, am not holding him up.
I think that's one of the best analogies I've seen about how a relationship should work and its best functionality. And shout outs to Revelations Church for that revelation, so to speak, I guess. It's really applicable to nowadays relationship, and this lady is absolutely right. In terms of wanting to have a certain type of man, you have to have some level of capacity to be able to maintain having a relationship of that sort, right? So if it's a situation where, let's say, it's kind of comparable to when they say that like looks will get your foot in the door, but personality is what will allow you to stick around. You know, it falls in line with that specifically. So this is a very good way to put it in terms of the umbrella analogy, the woman being able to hold him down, and if it's something of even higher value, or if she's just more specific or niched, she needs to make sure that she has the strength to keep someone of that level, so to speak, you know. And she basically just gave a lot of wisdom in that. And I want to point out as well that wisdom is something that you can literally find everywhere these days. Like, it's literally everywhere. If it's social media, which would be the most common version at this point, and a close second would be just word of mouth on the street, no matter where you are. Like, you probably had this experience, like, probably every day, where you're just walking and you hear someone say something that in an everyday situation that has wisdom. Like, it could be someone talking on the phone and they're being like, Mark needs to do this because he needs to not count his egg before they hatch. Or it can be in the grocery store when they're saying like, yeah, but remember there's always tomorrow, or something like that, right? So you always hear these little proverbs, words of wisdom, or anything related to that in everyday life, and it's something that's really overlooked. Like comes through one ear and goes through the other, because a lot of people aren't really looking for wisdom in their busy scheduled lives, right? So it's important to be aware of this, to have a mental note when you get to hear wisdom. And this is another example. This video here is another example of wisdom that you get to have. So in this case, if you're a female watching, then you will definitely know that these are words of wisdom to live by, in terms of understanding that you have to have a certain capacity to maintain a certain level of relationship. Now, before we continue, I actually want to show you how true it is when I say wisdom is literally everywhere. Like, you can even get it through ChatGPT. And here's the input of ChatGPT on the matter once it was explained. Roll the clip.
This Christian woman said, "A woman has to be able to hold up the man she desires, like an umbrella covers a woman. And if she wants a higher brand of umbrella, she has to be strong enough to do so." That sounds poetic, but there's some real truth under it. Truth you can back up with scripture. Let's break it down. 1. Real love requires strength, not just emotion. A lot of people pray for a good man, godly, ambitious, emotionally present. But the question is, are you strong enough to walk with a man like that? Proverbs 31 verse 17 says, "She sets about her work vigorously. Her arms are strong for her tasks." That's not just physical, it's spiritual. A Proverbs 31 woman is strong enough to carry the weight of purpose. 2. A higher brand means greater responsibility. Just like a luxury umbrella might be heavier or need a firm grip, a man with deep calling, he's going to require more support. Not because he's needy, but because leadership comes with battles. Galatians 6 verse 2 says, "Carry each other's burdens, and in this way you will fulfill the law of Christ." If you're praying for a man with vision, business, ministry, whatever it is, he'll need someone who can help carry, not just consume. 3. Covering doesn't mean controlling. Supporting your partner doesn't mean managing every move. It's about encouraging, praying, and standing in the gap. Proverbs 14 verse 1 reminds us, "The wise woman builds her house, but with her own hands the foolish one tears hers down." Wisdom builds. It uplifts. It doesn't dominate. It partners. 4. Storms are coming. Can you handle them? Life isn't always sunshine. There will be trials, setbacks, and moments where faith is tested. And like an umbrella in a storm, you've got to be steady. Ecclesiastes 4 verses 9 to 10 says, "Two are better than one. If either of them falls down, one can help the other up." That's what it means to hold someone up. You're ready for whatever season life throws at you. So the message is this: don't just pray for a man who covers you. Ask God to make you the kind of woman who can be a covering too. Because real love, godly love, is about becoming a shelter together. Now, that was my take on this. Back to you.
In fact, here's what the proverb says about wisdom. It says, "She crieth at the gates, at the entry of the city, at the coming in at the doors." So if you analyze this, this means that she's at the gates, meaning like at the entrance of the city. So even when you're like entering the city, this means that wisdom is literally everywhere, starting at the entrance of the city and then at the coming in at the doors. So it's at the entry of the city, so you can find wisdom on the way of the city, and the wisdom stretches far out in terms of how much she's crying, to the point where he's coming in at the doors, right? So at the doors of your home, at the doors of your business place, it doesn't matter where you are. Wisdom is literally something that is being given everywhere. And a lot of the young people even hear these words of wisdom of variety, whether, for example, in Jamaica, we have a lot of reckless bikers, right? And all the time we hear it, how they should be cautious, how they should be careful and everything, and you still get accidents every day regardless of that. And that's because a lot of these accidents are because of people that don't heed to wisdom, right? So it does mention in the scripture as well that wisdom will laugh at those who didn't listen when their consequences reach them. So I'm just bringing that up to say that not just this type of video, but in general, wisdom is there to make sure that you can have a better quality of life, so that you don't reap the same consequences that our ancestors did, our predecessors did, right? So in context now to the video specifically, these that she's mentioned, this trait that she's mentioned, are that of a good woman, one that is worthy of marriage, of support, because she's supporting you in the process. She's trying to make sure that you're good, and not just, okay, what have you done for me? I am the table, keep making sure that you're putting things on that such table and whatever. She's making sure that regarding the table, it's something that you and her are working on together, by making sure that she can hold you down, being your peace, right? Your peace of mind, the de-stressor for you, right? So these things are that of a virtuous woman, and the value of a woman exceeds a lot of the things in this world. For example, even a good woman will be more valuable than money, so to speak, because she's someone that can help you to get to that money in the first place, right? She's someone that can help you to get to a lot of the things that you want to achieve. It's kind of like with, let me give an example, The Godfather. No, not The Godfather. Scarface, when he proposed to the lady that was the woman of the Don that he worked for, he proposed to her and said that with the right woman by my side, I can go a lot further, right? It's that kind of mentality that would be applied here. If you have the right woman, you can achieve a lot more than if you were otherwise. So, for example, with the right woman, she can multiply what you have, right? You give her something, you give her peace, she multiplies that. You give her a house, she furnishes it. You give her your seed, she brings children, right? And with the wrong woman, if you invest in her, she can deduct from what you have. She can make you stressed out. She can make you regret a lot of things that it could be like opportunities that you miss out on, right? So it's important to be able to see the value in who you're with when you have a good woman. And these are things that we should be aware of. Like, as the man, we should make sure that we're taking care of the things that can allow her to live in her femininity, right? And also, as women, it's important to do the things that let the man be allowed to lead, to feel respected, right? So he can show you his love through his actions, right? Because a good woman is always going to be one that is of the highest of value, right? Because even the Proverbs 31:10 verse 10 to 31, it mentions in there, who can find a virtuous woman, for her price is far above rubies. 31 verse 30, favor is deceitful and beauty is vain, but a woman that feareth the Lord, she shall be praised. Why is it saying a woman that feareth the Lord? Because if you feareth the Lord, you walk in his ways, you obey his word specifically. Your actions will dictate who you are. Because acting favorable and being beautiful, these are all things that are temporary. But a woman that feareth the Lord, regardless of her age, whether it's an old woman that maybe whether it's an elder, I should say, or a young lady, they'll always be respected because of how they carry themselves, how they conduct themselves in situations, right? And also, let's go ahead to Proverbs 31 and verse 18. She perceiveth that her merchandise is good, her candle goeth out, her candle goeth not out by night. So she's of a mindset, like I mentioned before, a good woman will multiply what you give her, and she'll also be able to set it up wherein whatever she does keeps multiplying for the benefit of the family. So if it's, in other words, she'll be having a business-minded mindset that benefits her family, right? And that's another incredible trait for a woman to have. And let's see what else it says. Houses and riches are the inheritance of fathers, and a prudent woman is from the Lord. So things that we can inherit naturally, we can gain from fathers, for example, right? Like inheritances are natural from fathers that are doing what they should be doing, right? But a woman that's prudent, a wife that's prudent, that's loyal, sharp, always looking out for you, that is a blessing from God himself. That's not something that you just pass down. That's what it means, right? So, going on to Proverbs 3 verse 15, she is more precious than rubies, and all the things thou canst desire are not to be compared unto her. So, all the material things can compare to a good woman who has your best interest of heart, who has the relationship's best interest at heart, you know? So, that's what it really means. These are some of the traits of a good woman. And what this woman described is in the same concept of a good woman, right? So, what's opposite of this nature? The Bible even brings that up as well. So, if you look here, it says, "It is better to dwell in the corner of the housetop than with a brawling woman in a wide house." So, it's better to be in peace by yourself in a secluded area than to be with a brawling woman in a wide house, right? Because the headaches would be immense for both parties probably, but worse on the man because he's the one's being shouted at or whatever, right? So this is going back to where it's mentioned that it's important to have a woman of peace, right? That brings the man peace. And of course, the man should be bringing her peace in the sense that he's making sure that he's doing what he's supposed to be doing as a man. A lot of these things that she doesn't even have to ask, like taking care of the fatherly duties, for example. That's a given. Taking care of the household, making sure that everything is in order and in tight order, so that there's no hiccups in terms of how the family should be run. So I'm just making sure that I can bring across, like I mentioned, the traits of a good woman, and her video is really inspiring and a great revelation, a great analogy on that topic as well. So let me know what you guys think are other good traits of a good woman that really can keep a relationship long term. Let me know by sharing your comments below. I'd really like to interact with you all, so let me know in the comment section below. I'll see you there, and stay tuned for more content like this, where we can share the wisdom of everyday things, where we can find the moral of the story. Thanks for tuning in. Subscribe to Updates Mojo, and I'll see you in the next one.